All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ephraim. Today's date is October 4th, 2022, and I'm saying Ahaya by Yeshem, Yeshua, HaMashiach, Baruch Atu Adonai. And if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you are blessed to see another day, and for that, all praise, honor, and glory is due to the Most High God of Israel, for now and forever. Okay, today we're going to get into the whole man-made construct called the Middle East, and that's exactly what it is. It's a man-made construct. There's really geographically no such place called the Middle East. Geographically, it's all Africa. Okay. Now I'm going to deal with some things in this lesson, and I need to say this because I want all my people in Africa and throughout the world to understand and know that this lesson is not anti-African or anti-Africa. I mean, that would be silly. We all know that civilization started in Africa, and Africa was one of the most colonized places ever. And we never really talk about that, about the colonization of Africa and the things that the African people went through. And that goes back to when Noah cursed Canaan. He said, "Cursed be Canaan." See, I addressed this in some of my lessons in the past. The original Canaanites were Hamitic Africans. And when Noah cursed Canaan, he cursed the Hamitic Africans. And that's why they had to go through all of the atrocities that they went through with being colonized and being, the Holocaust with the African people under Leopold and all those different things. And so I may do a lesson dedicated to the atrocities that the Canaanites, or the original Canaanites, which were Africans, what they went through. Because I've never really addressed that specifically and exclusively. I may do that on a lesson, because people seem to forget that the Africans were cursed as well when Noah cursed Canaan, but the Babylonian Talmud tried to make it seem like the curse of Ham somehow affected Negroes or black people around the world, and that was a total just BS basically, because Noah didn't curse Ham. That curse of Ham stuff came from the Babylonian Talmud. Noah cursed Canaan. He said, "Cursed be Canaan." So anyway, I'm not to get too far off into that. I may do a lesson on that. I think that's pretty interesting. But I want my African brothers and sisters to know that this is not anti-Africa or anti-African. I literally have peoples in Nigeria, whom I love and respect dearly. And shout out to them. So I don't want y'all to get the wrong idea, but I have to give an understanding, like I say, a pretext to the context of what I'm talking about, because many of you probably have had a chance, or maybe you haven't, to view my DNA testimony, if you will. And before they changed it, and clearly my DNA was shown in what they call Palestine, which is another European construct, because Palestine is actually Judea. Okay, that's ancient Judea, and it clearly showed my DNA, down there in Palestine, and even the migration up out of Palestine when my Y DNA was leaving Palestine. And I showed that. Like I said, I had screenshots before they changed it. And even Sister Judaya, who I turned on to the DNA, she took hers with DNA Tribes, who was no longer in existence, but hers also showed the same pattern as mine. And shout out to that sister, and hope she's well. She's been gone for years. I haven't seen her around or whatever, but hopefully she's alive and well, and God bless her. I don't want anyone to misunderstand what this lesson is about. It's not bashing anything. It's not bashing anybody. It's not bashing any people. It's giving a historical view of that region. So the so-called Middle East. Okay. And y'all know me. I don't hate on anyone. I don't disrespect anyone. I mean, you may not like what I'm saying. You may not even agree with what I'm saying, and that's fine. But I'm going to give the uncut take on what it is. And if you want to do further research on your own, by all means, do your thing. But I'm going to have to address this whole Middle East thing, because it's not really a thing. It's a European construct, to be specific, and it was done on purpose. And so I'm going to address that as well in this lesson. So I hope you all enjoy it. Y'all know how I do. So until next time, it's Dr. Ephraim signing off, saying Ahaya by Yeshem Yeshua HaMashiach Baruch Ato Adonai. Shalom, elect. All right. Now, what I'd like to accomplish with this particular lesson is twofold. Firstly, I want to give some context surrounding the whole Middle East debate, where Israel is geopolitically located and where it is actually geographically located. All right. The narrative they've been pushing ad nauseum is that Israel is somehow located in Asia or Asia Minor. It's even referred to as being in Eurasia, based almost exclusively on the notion that the man-made Suez Canal, which is a waterway connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Indian Ocean via the Red Sea, is a divider of sorts. It separates where Africa ends and Asia begins. In other words, the term Middle East is a purely geopolitical one. There's truthfully no such thing as a Middle East. If so, then where's the Middle West or the Middle North, and so on and so forth? And so to those who may not understand what the term geopolitical means, it simply means the geographical term is based on almost exclusively on international politics or the powers that be, quote unquote, that may have a vested interest, agenda, or other motive to adopt and align themselves with a geographical term that serves those interests. Secondly, I will explain non-emotionally why many new awakened Israelites reject being labeled and identified as African. Okay? It amazes me how many so-called men get in their feelings about this without trying to grasp or seek the spirit of understanding for the underlying reason. The term Middle East is actually 100% European construct, same as Palestine, which is actually ancient Judea, changed by the Roman Emperor Hadrian to take away the Jewish connotation of the land and the region. The people that occupy that region today, the so-called Palestinians, are not its original inhabitants and have no true legal, ancestral, or moral rights to the land. Sound familiar? But the reality is, no matter how much they insist on denying the geographical facts, Israel is located in the northeast region of Africa, as evidenced by the African tectonic plates. The term Middle East was coined and invented by the British sometime between 1850s and 1890s. It's debated, when exactly. But it didn't become really known or adopted on a broader scale until an American naval strategist, Alfred Thayer Mahon, used the term in 1902 to designate the area between Arabia and India. See, they concede Egypt being in Africa, but then they stop there and will not concede what is geographically obvious, that Israel is actually located on the continent of Africa as well. See, when people normally hear the term Middle East, they automatically conjure images of olive-skinned, Arab-looking men with beards, not dark-skinned, nappy-haired, wide-nosed Africans, or more appropriately, Negroes. And that accomplishes the first goal of changing the name to the Middle East. It takes away the connotation of the original people that inhabited that land and region, and to whom that land rightfully belongs to this day. So moving forward, when you see or hear the word geopolitical, just think false narrative with a hidden agenda. There we go. Okay? I came up on this one site, or this one says her name is Sharon Williams, and she posted this on May 18th, 2018. And the question was one of those cruel questions is Israel an African country? And this sister said, quote, yes, it is. It is in Northeast Africa. It is one of the reasons they call that region the Middle East, to hide this fact of where it truly sits on the African tectonic plate. The man-made Suez Canal does not change this fact, but was used to conceal the truth. They don't want the world to know it is associated with melanated people whom they like to call black. But I'm here to tell you otherwise. My DNA disputes what we have been told, that no so-called black people originated there, African or otherwise. As an American citizen, descendant of Hebrew slaves, part of my ancestry is from the Northeast Africa, more specifically what is now modern-day Palestine, formerly Judea. My DNA has been traced to that region. I am copper-colored brown, what most would call black or African American, which is neither a race nor ethnicity, but I digress. Israel as a location was never named in the Torah. It was called Judea. That was renamed Palestine. The truth always comes out when lies can no longer be sustained, end quote. And shout out to that sister Sharon Williams. Those were her words, okay? And everything she said, I'd already covered, which is it's true. It's confirmation. Everything she said in that post, I covered. So, and we're on the same page. All right. So, with respect to the second aspect of what I wanted to address, I need all of these self-proclaimed Pan-Africanists, pro-black enthusiasts, Marcus Garvey, Back to Africa type supporters, and these Egyptologists to truly understand something. Because of all of their pro-African rhetoric, this seems to be totally lost on all of them. Okay, and it's a simple fact that Africa is not a nation. Okay, let me say that one more time for possible penetration. Africa is not a nation. It is a continent, a huge continent by which several dark-skinned nations of people reside and whose ancestors originated. Egypt is in Africa, north. But the people that inhabit that country or region of Africa are referred to as what? Egyptians. Libya, same thing. Libya is in Africa, but the people are referred to as Libyans. Ethiopia is in Africa. The people are referred to as Ethiopians. I think you all get the point. So with that said, why must Negroes be stripped of our nationality and embrace a term that does not give us the proper respect of being referred to by the nation of Africa our ancestors descended from? Our DNA proves that our people dwell in Northeast Africa or present-day Israel, which would make our true nationality Israelite, not African. All right, this is not debatable. There's nothing to get all in your feelings about. Okay, it's a matter of simple, geography. My personal DNA traces straight through what Europeans have constructed as the Middle East, Palestine. Now, why is that important? It's important because I'm establishing that every dark race who resides on the continent of Africa are referred to by their respective nations. It's rare that any of those races of people are referred to simply as African. Why? Again, because Africa is not a nation, and therefore does not denote someone's nationality. This simplistic geographical concept is exactly why Negroes should not be referred to as Black, African American, or even simply African, because every single one of those terms further strips the dignity of us having our own identity. So what? Every race on the planet has a nation except us? Or better yet, why do all those dark races get the respect and pride of being referred to by their nation, but Negroes have to be satisfied with and promote the term African when it does not properly denote who we are or what nation we descended from? Yes, we dwelled and came from a nation as well. We are not simply African. And this is exactly why most Hebrew Israelites reject that sole designation. All right? This is how and why my DNA teaching is so very important to our people. because I have been able to genetically remove our people from the dark nations of Africa that do not share our DNA, which further proves we are not from the same bloodline. The Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary refers to the dark races by their nationality that came from the seed of Ham. That would be the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. Okay? Now, the fact that Hamitic Africans were referred to as Canaanites help illustrate my point as well. Because Hamitic Africans did dwell in Canaan, now known as Israel, i.e., the Promised Land, before they were dispossessed of the land by Joshua. They weren't dispossessed by Europeans, they were dispossessed by other black people, Shemitic Africans, if you will, i.e., Hebrew Israelites. They ran the Hamitic Africans up out of Israel because that land was promised to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And since they were not that, they had to raise up, bottom line. And to this day, many of them still hold a grudge behind being made to leave Israel, and why many Hamitic Africans, one, still have a problem with us and do not quote unquote like us. Many of them actually know who we really are. And two, they still consider Israel their land. Now, the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary that some people try to denounce, they try to denounce anything proving who we are or whatever, but whatever. The Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary said that Ham became the progenitor of those dark races. And I already named them, but it said the caveat it gave us was, but not the Negroes, which would be me and most of you, I'm assuming. So even though they revealed that Negroes are not from the bloodline of Ham, they still didn't give us the respect and dignity of referring to the nation Negroes actually came from. So even though this Zondervan piece is somewhat crucial in what our DNA/genetics prove, they still only told half the truth. Clearly, a lot of people, including our own, for whatever reason, have a problem with Negroes being the true Hebrews of the Bible, and will sometimes go out of their way to not refer to us as who and what we truly are, which is Hebrew Israelites. I mean, it is what it is. We're not quote unquote Africans, okay? The Holy Scriptures, our DNA or our blood, and the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary all point to and verify this genetic fact. Just know this, they, and I mean the enemies of our people, and they all know who they are not going to ever submit to the truth, no matter how much their lies are shut down, and our very own DNA verifies that they have been in our embracing cultures, not their own. It never has been. That said, I, again, ask every single one of you to not let my labor in this truth be in vain. And continue to do your part for the kingdom. Continue to share my posts, embed the videos with the world on your pages all across the social network. Ahaya B'Yashem Yeshua HaMashiach, and they're both with us. I speak with thus said the Lord God of hosts, and I fear none. All right? So hopefully this explained the reason why many Israelites reject the term African. It's no disrespect. It's not, anything like that. It's just they want to be referred to respectfully as every other race of people referred to by their nation, by their nationality. It's as simple as that. Whether you like it, agree with it or not, there it is there. Okay? So that's it. That's all I got. Hopefully the context and, give you something to go on if you want to, research further on that whole Middle East thing. I gave you a nice, foundation there. So until next time, all of y'all be safe, and I speak blessings over you and all of your families. This is Dr. Ephraim signing off, and I'm saying shalom.